Sean Diddy Combs was on the scene of one of the most high-profile rapper assassinations in history.
This young man, lost his life throughout this journey.
Diddy has spoken up from behind bars, and he is talking about the one subject everyone has been waiting for, the death of the Notorious B.I.G. But he didn't do it in an interview. He didn't do it in a song. He did it in a desperate letter to a judge trying to save his own life. What he said has left everyone in shock. Did he confess, or is he using his dead best friend to save his own skin? The truth is darker than you can imagine. The letter that changed everything. It was October 2025. Diddy had been locked up for over a year. He was sitting in the special housing unit far away from the glitz and glamour of his white parties. He was facing a judge who was about to decide his fate. He had already been found guilty of transportation for prostitution. He was looking at years in prison. He needed a miracle. So, he picked up a pen and paper. He wrote a 4-page letter to Judge Aaron Subramanian. In this letter, Diddy tried to paint a picture of a man who had changed. He claimed the bad boy we all knew was gone. He wrote, "The old me died in jail and a new version of me was reborn." He told the judge that prison either changes you or it kills you, and he chose to live. He said he didn't care about money or fame anymore. He said the only thing that mattered was his family. He admitted he was broken to his core. He talked about. He apologized for the pain he caused. But then his legal team stood up in that courtroom and dropped a bombshell that made the whole room freeze. His lawyer, Marco, looked at the judge and tried to explain why Diddy's life had gone off the rails. He didn't blame the money. He didn't blame the power. He blamed the death of Christopher Wallace, Biggie Smalls. The lawyer argued that Diddy got hooked on drugs and lost his way because he never got over seeing his best friend murdered in 1997. He told the court that Diddy's addiction and his bad behavior were all because of the trauma of that night in Los Angeles. Think about that for a second. For 30 years, people have whispered that Diddy knows more about Biggie's death than he admits. Some have even accused him of setting it up. And now here he is sitting in a federal jail cell using Biggie's death as an excuse for his own crimes. He is telling the judge, "Have mercy on me because I'm a victim of that tragedy too." It was a bold move. It was a desperate move, but it was the first time in years that Diddy openly used the Biggie tragedy as a shield in a court of law. He broke his silence, but not to give us answers. He did it to ask for sympathy. But if he thought that would make him, he was wrong. Because while Diddy was writing letters about being reborn, prosecutors in Las Vegas were digging up dirt that could bury him forever. The $1 million bounty. While Diddy was begging for mercy in New York, a storm was brewing out west. The Las Vegas police have been trying to solve the murder of Tupac Shakur for almost 30 years. And in 2024 and 2025, they finally made a huge move. They arrested a man named Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. Kev D isn't just some random guy. He is a former gang member who claims he was in the car that shot Tupac. But when the police started asking him questions, he didn't just talk about Tupac. He started talking about Diddy, and what he said is terrifying. Prosecutors filed documents in court that mentioned Diddy's name 77 times. That is not a typo. 77 times. In these documents, Keith D claims that Diddy put a price on the heads of Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. He says Diddy wanted them gone and he put a number on it, $1 million. According to the court files, Keito told police that he met with Diddy. He claims Diddy asked him a question that chills you to the bone. After Tupac was shot in Las Vegas, Kef, is that us? Imagine the scene. The biggest rap mogul in the world allegedly asking a gang member if we were responsible for shooting his rival. Kef D said he told Diddy yes. This conversation allegedly happened right after the shooting. But it gets even more specific. Kef D told investigators that the money, that $1 million, was supposed to be paid through a guy named Eric Zip Martin. Zip was a well-known figure in New York, a close friend of Diddy. Keith D says they even went to New York in 2009 to try and catch Zip talking about the money on a wiretap. Diddy has denied this for years. He has always said neither Biggie nor I had any knowledge of any attack. But now these aren't just rumors in a barbershop. These are official court documents in a murder trial. The prosecutors are using these statements to build their case against Kef D. They are saying Kef D is telling the truth about the hit. And if he is telling the truth about the hit, is he telling the truth about who paid for it? The trial for Kef D has been pushed back to 2026 because of new evidence That means this story isn't going away. It is going to hang over Diddy's head for years while he sits in his cell for sex crimes. The shadow of 2 murders is creeping closer. But the allegations regarding Tupac are just one side of the coin. There is another lawsuit that claims Diddy didn't just pay to hurt his enemies. It claims he was willing to sacrifice his best friend. The sacrificial lamb theory. You might have heard about Rodney Lil Rod Jones. He is a producer who worked with album. He lived with Diddy. He saw everything. And when he filed a lawsuit against Diddy, he included a section that made the whole world stop scrolling. Lil Rod claims that Diddy admitted to orchestrating the shooting of Biggie Smalls. But he didn't just say Diddy did it. He explained why. The lawsuit calls it a Faustian bargain. That's a fancy way of saying a deal with the devil. Lil Rod alleges that Diddy treated Biggie as a sacrificial lamb. The theory goes like this. The East Coast-West Coast war was getting too hot. It was dangerous. It was bad for business. Lil Rod claims Diddy realized that if Biggie died, it would end the war. But more than that, it would make Biggie a legend, a martyr, and Bad Boy Records would sell millions of records forever. It sounds like a movie script, doesn't it? But this isn't a federal lawsuit. Lil Rod claims Diddy bragged about his role in the murders. He says Diddy used his reputation as a killer to scare people. He claims Diddy would tell people, "I'll eat your face." And people believed him because they thought he had Biggie killed. In March 2025, a judge dismissed some parts of Lil Rod's lawsuit. The judge said the RICO charges, the organized, didn't fit the specific laws for this case, but he did not say the stories were false. He just said they didn't prove Diddy owed Lil Rod unpaid wages. The allegations are still there. They are still on the record. Think about the timing. Diddy is in jail. His lawyer is telling the judge that Diddy is a victim of Biggie's death. Meanwhile, a former employee is telling a court that Diddy caused Biggie's death to make money. And there is one person who had to watch all of this unfold. One person who loved Biggie more than anyone. And she didn't buy Diddy's act for a second. The matriarch's final words. Voletta Wallace, the mother of the Notorious B.I.G, for almost 30 years. She stood by Diddy. She appeared at the tribute shows. She hugged him on stage. She kept the peace because she thought Diddy was her son's friend. But in 2024, everything changed. When the video came out of Diddy beating his ex-girlfriend Cassie in that hotel hallway, Voletta Wallace couldn't stay silent anymore. She watched that video and she felt sick. She did an interview with Rolling Stone that tore Diddy apart. She didn't hold back. She said, "I hope that I see Sean one day and the only thing I want to do is slap the daylights out of him." Can you feel the anger in those words? This is a woman who said she felt ashamed and embarrassed that she ever liked him. She realized that the man she thought was a hero was actually a monster. She said he needs to apologize to his mother. She knew that Diddy had brought shame not just on himself, but on everyone around him. When asked about the allegations that Diddy was involved in her son's murder, she said 3 simple words. "I leave it to time." She didn't say he was innocent. She didn't defend him. She left it to time. She was waiting for the truth to come out. Tragically, Voletta Wallace ran out of time. On February 21, 2025, she passed away at her home in Pennsylvania. She was 72 years old. She died of natural causes, surrounded by family, but she died without ever seeing full justice for her son. Her death is a heavy blow. She was the one keeping Biggie's legacy alive. She was the moral authority. Now that she is gone, there is no one left to protect Diddy from the anger of the streets. There is no one left to say, "Leave him alone for the sake of the family." The gloves are off, and while the world outside is debating his crimes, Diddy is living a nightmare inside. You won't believe what his life looks like now. Hell on earth. Right now, Diddy is sitting in the special housing unit at the Convention Center in Brooklyn. This isn't a country club prison. This place is known as hell on earth. This jail is so bad that judges have refused to send people there. It is infested with rats. The sewage system backs up. It smells. It is loud. And it is incredibly dangerous. Just months before Diddy got there, an inmate named Uriel White was stabbed to death with a makeshift ice pick. A few weeks later, another inmate, Edwin Corderero, was murdered in a fight. These weren't accidents. These were hits, and it didn't stop. In February 2025, while Diddy was locked up inside, a massive brawl broke out. One of the men convicted of killing Jam Master Jay, another hip-hop legend, was stabbed 18 times in the back. 18 times. Inmates were caught on camera holding knives that were a foot long. This is where Diddy sleeps at night. He is in the special housing unit, which means he is isolated. He is alone for 23 hours a day. His lawyers say the conditions are horrific. They say